Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Pick Up the Truth. I hope everyone's well. Staying away from all the unnecessary programming they want you to believe in. Staying away from the news, staying away from the politics, the televisions, the movies, and even the music. Some people might be saying, well, damn, there's nothing left. There's a lot left. There's your family and there's love. And there's respect for one another, truth, and happiness on what was created for us. Now, today we're going to get into a video of two so-called truthers, content creators on YouTube, talking about my brother Shizzle. And this video is not to talk badly about these fellas, but it's in hopes that they may start to understand that they're not exactly awake in the world that they thought they were awake in, and things aren't truly as they think they are. But it's a video to help them discover how programmed their thoughts and actions just might be, to help them break free from all of these systems that we have to deprogram ourselves from. And that's what it's all about, waking up brothers and sisters to truth, the truth that sets us free, you know. So in no way do I want to judge these fellas, but just point out truthfully what is happening to them. Because a lot of times when you point out truthfully what is happening to people, they like to get defensive and think you're attacking them, but in reality, you're just trying to help them. Help them not to be controlled by someone else or other entities that are trying to control them. And it's especially hard for people to believe they're being controlled, because it's been happening to them all their lives, and they've been conditioned to believe in it, to believe in what controls them. And here on this channel, we expose all of those things that condition us to be the people they want us to be, and all of those labels that define us to be the people they want us to be, instead of us just being who we naturally are, you know? So we can think on our own outside the many boxes they program us to think in. But that's what it's all about, helping each other. And I hope these brothers see this video as a way to maybe help them reflect on how they may be being controlled in their life. But I hope so, because that's all I want for everyone, is, you know, to be free from this horrible system. In the many ways they try to get us to be, it's terrible. Terrible how they manipulate our minds and so they can control our actions. It's awful. But let's get into it.
What's up, Mike Truth?
Oh, am I on?
Yes.
What's up, man?
Yes, you're not a penis flasher. I'm gonna...
Oh, no, I'm not. I came across your channel because of Shizzle.
Okay, cool.
So,
Yeah.
what do you do? I'm new to your channel.
You mean on this channel? What do
Yeah.
you mean professionally? You mean for work? You mean on this channel over here?
On the channel, and what you do for work.
Oh well, work. I try not to dox, too much. I
Right.
got into security. I got into sales. I was in the military. That kind of thing.
Okay, right off the bat, Mac is saying that he's listing all of the ways that they've controlled him in his life. In the positions they force him to work for the money they created so he can live off the land that was naturally created for him to live freely off of. That's the fucked up part. Okay, it all goes back to, them stealing what was naturally created for us. And now he's forced to work these positions and believe in these positions and probably do his best in these positions because he's been programmed to do so. It's how he's forced to survive to make the money they created for him to buy back the land they stole from him. And these are the things we need to wake up to in reality. Instead of thinking that these are normal ways that we were always meant to live, we need to wake up to the real fact of how they control us with the individual systems they created to control us with. It's the only way we're going to break free from this programming. Deprogram from the many systems that they created to define ourselves in the life they created for us.
Yeah, man. For here, I just kind of, I don't keep it too rigid. Like if for example, this video, this is money and muscle. If we just, if we just happen, to talk about something else, it's not a big deal. And so we talk about whatever.
Yeah. No, I came across your channel because Shizzle made a video on you. Just like he's made a video on many of us truthers. Right. He's always claiming that with labels, he has a big problem with that. But I've shown him, like, he thinks I'm making it up with, like, the J elite and the Chinese elite, running the show. That, and with the Bible beliefs, he always says.
What up? This is Shizzle coming at you. I found this video. I found it on my homie's channel. This shit's like a week old or so. I'd never seen it up until now. But here we go. Mike Truth finds homie Max, brother Max channel, which is a friend that I made on YouTube. Whether or not MGTOW, I'm not down with MGTOW, but I am down to bullshit with my brothers and sisters. But Mike True jumps on this motherfucker's channel, jumps on the live stream and says, I made a video on him. Much like I've made a video on Mike Truth. Which is true, I've made a video on Mike Truth. But never have I once made a video on Mac. Not once have I ever called him out. I can't. He's smart with the way he talks. He doesn't deceive. He doesn't push pseudoscience. He doesn't push religion. Very little can I call the dude out for. I've never once made a video on him. Now, Mike Truth's seen a video I released where Mac was in the video. There was a brother named Luigi And another brother, I'd have to rewatch it, but I think his name, he called himself Ralph. And I exposed that just asking these two questions triggered them and had them work on dividing me. Slander, labels, yeah, so what? I'm not afraid of labels. You go ahead and call me labels, but I'll expose you when you do it. And yes, if you believe in a Bible, that is just a belief, my truth.
Yeah, I'm checking it out. I didn't realize. I'm guessing that he taped, or he edited, 2 hours, 2 hours worth, when he was on.
Yeah.
I mean, Shizzle's my boy. He's been on, since my first episode. This is my first live. He was the first guy to come on with me, live.
Well, the first time I met him, he claimed that I was, putting deception into people. And again, that's why, if he comes on here, I want to talk about that. How he thinks that I'm putting deception in, my followers' mind. Because I'm not doing that. I know that's something Shizzle commonly says, right? Labeling me. He says that like in all his videos.
I gotta respond to Shinobi real quick. I'll be right back with you.
Very, very interesting. Mike True says that's why if Shizzle comes on here, he wants to talk to me about that. About me calling him out on his deceptions. Okay, but the interesting thing is, since me and his first bullshit, that live stream, I jumped in and called him out for like 2 hours or 3 hours straight. I called him out deception after deception after deception. You could watch the video if you want. Well, ever since then, he's commented on multiple videos of mine, and never once did he say that he wants to talk about it. And during that live stream, it didn't really seem like he wanted to talk about it. He just wanted to talk about what he thinks that I believe. So that's interesting. He's commented multiple times and never said once that he wants to talk about it. He never once called me out. But he goes to this Mac's channel, and he says that I made a video on Mac, and he's there in case I jump on because he wants to talk to me. Mike Truth, I have replied and put a heart by every single comment you have made on my motherfucking videos. Never once have you called me out. So if you want to talk to me, you know where to find me, brother. I just think that's suspicious. I've replied to every single one of your comments, Mike Truth. You want to talk to me, dude? You want to talk to me about you spreading deceptions? And there's a difference. The first time I met Mac, he wasn't spreading deceptions. I didn't call Mac out for shit. Me and Mac bullshitted. The first time I met you, the programming began. And up until now, your programming does not stop. So, that's the difference.
All right, so you were saying, your content, is
Right.
it's free of deception.
Yeah, I'm not putting any deception. I don't know, why Shizzle makes these claims. I'm actually curious how he was brought up and everything about him. Because I'm seeing all these videos and he's claiming everyone's, labeling him and he sees it as a bad thing.
Mike Truth, what in the living fuck are you talking about? I don't understand your question. What do you need to understand? And then you're saying that Shizzle sees labels as a bad thing. Well, Shizzle doesn't necessarily believe in good or bad. good and evil, holy and evil. I think that's all just opinion, emotion. I call out division that is programmed. Slaves divide through programmed beliefs, religion, through programmed languages that help us stay enslaved and stay dividing. And I'm just going to call it out as I see it, and I am simply fighting for freedom. You think I don't like? You think that I think things are good and bad? Well, that's just more of your beliefs about me.
Well, I mean, I don't think that he was. I don't know for a fact. And watched the video. Did he make commentary during that 2 hours? He make his commentary between.
Right.
Yeah.
No, Mac, I did not make any commentary on that 2 hours. I think at the end of the video, I corrected a few things that I said that I accidentally said wrong and I deceived, if I remember right. At the very, very end of the clip, it took me like 10 seconds or 20 seconds. I said 2 things that corrected my own damn words. But no, I just played our little conversation, and I let Luigi and Ralph, was his name Ralph, expose their own damn selves. I don't know what kind of answer Mike Truth is given. It kind of makes me question if he even watched the video. He's like, right. You asked him, did Shizzle leave any commentary? And Mike Truth's like, right. That's kind of suspicious. But no, Mac, I didn't leave any commentary. Everything that everybody watched is the way that you seen it too.
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I'm just trying to figure out where, his mindset is.
Well,
See, Mike Truth, he's trying to figure out where Shizzle's mindset is. I mean, that mindset on how they program him to be, I suppose. No. Trying to figure out how Shizzle really is. And that's a better way of saying it, I suppose. But Mike seems to not be aware of the language he was forced to learn as a baby. He's not aware of how the language controls us. He's not aware of the truth and how it programs us and defines us. Because if he did, then he would know how important the labels are and how they define each of us to be something that a few or one maybe created the definition of.
No hate towards Hazel, just figuring out, the type of person he is. So we can have our differences and not attack each other,
Wow. It's weird behavior. It's interesting. You want to see where Shizzle's mindset is. You want to see what type of person Shizzle is. That way you and Shizzle could, have your differences and not attack each other. When have you and me ever attacked each other? Name one time. Have I ever attacked you, Mike Truth? Did you give me a black eye? You want to know what type of person I am? You want to know where my mindset's at? You know where my motherfucking channel's at. I think that you are just trying to dig. You're digging. You're digging for anything you could get on me, probably. But what do I know? That's my opinion, and I'll admit it. That is my opinion. Mike Truth is digging. Digging. You know what makes me think that? Because you could easily just go on my comment thing and get in touch with me and be like, where's your mindset at, Shizzle? And I'll reply back and I'll be like, what do you want to know? But this is sneaky, suspicious behavior. And then you never even left a comment on my fucking channel that says that you wanted to know, and you had this live stream and you have questions for Brother Shizzle. You never let me know this. So perhaps I'm the one doing most of the work right now, connecting the dots, you know, and you want to know where my mindset's at? Well, you know where to find me, Brother Mike. You've always known where to find me.
Well, he has a very, like, you know, everyone, you know, kind of a liberal. I don't want to label him, you know, and, you know, put him, you know, put him in a box.
He doesn't like being labeled, apparently. You can't label anything. Because labeling's not a bad thing. There's good things about it.
I'm not saying, you know, I'm not even saying he's liberal. Actually, because you know.
See, this is how we know Mike Truth doesn't know the truth about the language he was forced to learn as a baby, as a child. Labeling people is not a bad thing. Well, like we pointed out, the labels were created by, could have been one person or many, to define you to be how the label defines you to be. They created it to make you the person they want you to be. You don't understand that. You don't see that. You're putting yourself in a box believing in the label they created. And a box they created for you to be. So, are you really controlling your own thoughts? Or your own actions, for that matter? Because those labels, whether they be the good or the bad labels, they define them to be, because they created good and bad as well. Whether they get you to feel good about yourself or bad about yourself, it's going to generate an emotional response that was brought about by the label someone else created. So they're not only manipulating your thoughts and how you truly see yourself, they're manipulating your actions as well, and your emotions. And there's no way we should ever allow someone that created labels to be able to control us with those labels. Like, they want to call my brother Shizzle a liberal. Okay, that label, liberal, is under so many other labels of division. Okay, where did the label liberal come from? Well, you would have to believe in the political system they control you under, okay, and restrict you under. Go all the way back to the Constitution and the label of the land they got us to believe in, the label of America. Get you to believe in the Constitution they created to restrict us with, and the laws they created to restrict us with as well. And then it goes on further to divide us with the many more labels of a Republican or a Democrat, and that falls under being a liberal or a conservative. It's all labels that were created by the people or organizations that want to control who we are. And if we're really wanting to break free from the lies that control us in this world, we have to look at it for how it is really affecting us and really defining us and really controlling us. We have to look at it and see it for what it truly is. If you're searching for truth, if you want to call yourself a truther, another label they define us to be, it would be wise to search for truth, especially the truth that frees you from all of the things they control you with.
I don't know. I can't even speak for him. I've heard people, say, "Oh, you're kind of into this liberal stuff," and because like here's the thing, like when he suggested, I heard him suggest, we shouldn't, tax, or divide, our own,
Right.
our own land, our own land, through government. So he said that.
He's not a big Christian believer.
Right, but here's the thing, based on government, and law.
And Mike brings religion in it. I mean, that is another kingdom they control us with. The kingdom that was written to rule over our thoughts. It's another system they control us with. And until we admit that to ourselves and see that that's truly what is happening, we will always be controlled by the things they label us to be. They label Mike Truth to be a Christian, and he believes he's a Christian. And he is not alone in that belief. Probably a high majority of people on this earth are programmed to believe that they are the label of Christian. And more get recruited into that label they define them to be every day. Every day. And whether you believe in the Democrat label or the Republican label, they both want you to be consumed by the kingdom of God, because they both try to program that in our mind. The kingdom of God rules over your energy or your soul, whichever one you want to use. I use energy because energy, it's still a label, but I can feel energy running through me. It's what created the life that I feel inside me and that I am, because it's the natural energy that created everything. I'm part of it. That's truth. And they can't take that away from me or anyone else. But they get you to forget about that you are that true natural energy that they want to take away from you. They want to take away your belief in your own true natural energy, the same true natural energy that created everything around you. And I'm not talking about any of the material items they program us to consume and spend the money they enslave us to live by. I'm talking about all the natural living things on this earth that was created by the natural energy that created us. They can't take that away. They can hide it all they want. They can label us all they want. They can define us all they want to be the people they want us to be, but they can't extinguish that natural energy coursing through who you are. Whether it be in the vessel your energy resides in, or the essence of the energy you are. They can't take that away, but they can hide who you really are. They can make you believe that you're something you're not, the straw man or woman they created us to be. They can make us believe we are these people they define us to be. But if you believe you are those people they programmed you to be, you'll always be controlled by these people who created these systems. Is that what you guys want? I don't think any of us want that.
I told him, okay, way back, there was, there's medieval shit, where, the government, they might have said, oh, here's your fief, but at the same time, hey, if there was a bigger army, they wanted to plunder your shit, they would do so, if they thought it was, if they thought it was a strategic,
And there you go. Max said, in the medieval days, you can see they had similar systems that controlled the people, but still we believe in the one that controls us, right? We put so much faith in the one that controls us. If you believe in what they teach you about the medieval times and whatnot, you can see the similarities in the systems. Okay, the laws that they had to restrict the people back then, calling them the label they created them to be, the criminals, right? As he said, as Max said. Okay, they labeled them to be the criminals because they created the laws that restrict them, right? So just definitions, how they defined the people and controlled them back in the day. They got them to be what they wanted them to be, and they controlled them that way. But we don't see how they do it to us, and we keep living in it like it's normal. We keep not wanting to deprogram ourselves from it and free ourselves from it. But we'd rather just be consumed by it and talk about it. Deprogrammed from these systems they've controlled humanity with for forever. It's time to really wake up to the truth.
A sound strategic, move, to do so, they would just take their army. And they would just, they just round up their army, march on your land, and start pillaging.
See, now Max talking about the kingdoms, okay? The kingdoms who take the natural people's children. And to think about how much power we each have as natural people. We have the power to come together with a woman. Two people, a man and a woman, come together to create a living thing, a living person that's going to be an adult. And they can be a creator as well of life. But we take that for granted. They get us to think of it as something that's not as significant as it is. We create life. We're supposed to create life to live in truth, not to be controlled in many systems that define us to be something a group of people created us to be. And here we see Mac demonstrating that the kingdoms use the armies. What's the armies consist of? They consist of the natural people that we created. The natural living people, our sons and daughters that we created. They can take those sons and daughters, our creations. They can take what we created and they can use it against us. They can use them against us in these armies. Do you understand how fucked up that is? And we as people, we sit back and we allow it to happen. Okay? They take our sons and daughters that we created out of love, for the most part. We created out of love for one another. Whoever it is, you know, having the child. And for the most part, it's the same for most of us. We create life out of love. And they take that creation of life and use it against us. This is not a good system, and we need to deprogram ourselves from it. See it for what it truthfully is. They try to tell you that what created all living things is okay with this system that does this to us. But how can it be? Everything in this system, everything they program us to be, goes against what is naturally created. Goes against it. It destroys it. It destroys us because we're natural. We must no longer allow them to diminish the power that we have to create natural life. They diminish the power that we have to create natural life. And they take that life we created and they corrupt it. They define it to be whatever they label it to be. They created the labels. We must wake up to it. We must stop defining ourselves by what they created us to be.
But, so I'm telling them, this is why, there's some legal shit. This is why, this is why, I have my plot of land, and, if shit goes, if there's mayhem, this idea, of land, being legally, monetized. I don't know what the word is. You know what I mean? Legally,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like legally.
The land that was naturally created for us should not be restricted by any laws that were created. We should not be restricted by laws to live on the land that was naturally created for us. Just like we see the animals enjoy and freely live from the land. Why? What happened to humanity freely living from the land like we see in nature? It was taken from us. That's obvious. We can see proof. There's proof of that. Why do we continue to let people control what was naturally created for us to freely live from and live on. Especially with laws and money. These are systems that control us, especially money, in such a horrible way, but we accept it, along with all the other ways they program us to accept the system we were born into. It's time to wake up to truth.
Controlled. Then there's, there's certain boundaries that, like, dude, I mean, as much as I love, a war, battles, and, like, let's say I win, as much as I love, to win, if 200 people.
Oh, he's been programmed to love battles, to love wars. That means they're using what we created, the natural life we created. They're using that against us to kill other naturally created people. And we're programmed to love it. That's how they define us to be what they want us to be. They program us to love how they kill the naturally created people. This is terrible. This is terrible how they get us to think and to believe.
If they just roll up, to my house, while I'm doing a live stream, maybe I could take out, X amount of them, but after a while, especially if they, if they break down my door and, like, let's say I have an AK, right? Let's say I'm in my house and I have an AK. Then these people, they're breaching, they're breaching the windows, they're breaching, this, and that, and eventually, it's like Nazi zombies, from Call of Duty. Eventually, like, I'm going to be either.
Mac is programmed by Nazi zombies and all of the other video games that he's consumed by. They program a lot of people to be consumed by these video games just so they can relate real life to it somehow. And not just for that, so you can cycle the money that they force you to live by because they stole your natural land and resources. How much money do you keep cycling to these games? How much money do you keep encouraging other people to cycle to spend on these games that program them to be the people they want you guys to be? We're not waking up to truth. And if you want to call yourself a truther, how they label us to call ourselves, because they forced us to learn the language they created. If you want to take yourself outside the box and consider yourself to be someone seeking truth, then try harder, because you're being manipulated so badly by the people who control many minds. And I know it's hard. It's hard to wake up to truth, fellas. It really is. Because you'll lose yourself if you're not grounded. If you find yourself caught up in the religion they created to dominate many minds with, you're not going to find any comfort in that program. Because that's one of the many things they control and label you to believe in. You'll only find truth, and you'll only be grounded in what is natural. Look in the sky. Look in the grass. Look in the trees. Look in the animals. That's your home. That's your ground. That is what's going to keep you secure. Because that's what they've stolen from us.
Going to be swarmed, or I'm going to get, I'm going to get blindsided, and for what? Just because they wanted to, they're going to want to take my house. And if these laws, and if this thing, that Shizzle is saying, like he's like, what? And not even exactly. I'm sure, not even exactly. I'm sure that Shizzle didn't think it through. The way think it through. Down to how I'm, trying to play it out. But this is the only reason. This is the only disagreement, I had, that I brought up. Nothing against him. Like I said, Shizzle, he's my boy. He's been my boy.
I have nothing against him either, but when he's claiming that we're put in deception.
Mike Truth, says Shizzle's claiming that they're deceiving the people. Unintentionally, yes, Mike, you are, because you still believe in the many ways they define you to believe. You're still caught up in the many systems they program you to live in. And until you come to terms with this, and and Mac also, and until you come to terms with that the world you were born in is not quite what you think it really is, and then start deprogramming yourself from it, then you'll wonder what Shizzle's talking about. You'll wonder why he says the things he says. But wonder no more, because the world is not how you thought it was. And it's time to wake up to it. Mac thinks that Shizzle messed up and didn't think things out. Well, I think it's the other way around, Mac. I'm sorry to say that, and I'm not saying it to offend you, or I'm not saying anything to offend Mike Truth as well. I just wish you brothers could wake up to how they're manipulating your minds, how the system was designed to program people in their systems of mass mind control.
On him, I want to know why he's claiming that.
I don't know.
All right, Mac. I guess I could answer that one, and I'll jump on one of your live streams and answer it again to you. You say that I might appear to be liberal to you. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to accept that label. I wouldn't accept any of your programmed labels. Just because I just want to look at truth, and I'm not going to abide by your guys' beliefs anymore. From what I make out of that is you would live in fear. You would live in fear. Right now, you're programmed to be afraid of no life without slavery because of government. Without government, you would fear government. So you got the government to have your back right now and protect you and your so-called land, where I don't really believe in owning land. Well, that's your belief. Your belief on the history of what happened in the medieval days, I don't know if all that can be concluded. And all I'm saying is I'm not going to abide anymore. I don't believe it's your land. I don't believe it's my land. I simply lean towards freedom. And if you accept slavery and you live in fear without it, then that's on you. And then if you want to call me a liberal because I don't fucking abide by your borders, your taxes, your laws, your Masonic order, your currency, your barcodes. All right, put it this way. You're afraid of coalitions stealing land, blah, blah, blah. But right now, the whole world is in one hive mind coalition. It's the whole world versus me. It don't matter where I go. It's all a hive mind. They could find me in the database. I'll probably go to France and they could probably find out who I am. Probably with a fingerprint.
You forgot about me, my brother. I am not controlled by a hive mind. And you'll only find what's true in nature. And that's true. I got your back. And I got anyone's back who's willing to separate from the world that enslaves them and programs them to be what they wanted them to be. If you want to break free from that and free yourself from the system, then it's time to pick up the truth.
Right? If that's even real science. But yeah.
I didn't even watch the damn video.
Well, I watch a lot of his videos, and he claims that someone's always putting deception out, and he doesn't like being labeled.
Yeah, I mean, tons of people. There was tons of disagreements. You can watch, my previous. Let me see what the video. Actually, he took 2 hours worth. My video was 7.5 hours. So I don't know, if there was some other shit, that he didn't account for. Like, did he put his own commentary, on that 2-hour clip, that he made? Did he start making? Yeah, he
pretty sure he puts his own commentary. Yeah, that shizzle.
Yeah.
No. Shizzle did not add on commentary to that. And I was not simply just putting that video out because of differences of opinion. I was putting that video out because of deception and division that was trying to be committed on my brother Shizzle. And not really from Mac. Not really from Mac. Not really at all from Mac, if I remember right. He had his beliefs on fossil fuel, but I think he stated it's his belief. We'd have to rewind that one. But that's really the only thing out of 2 hours. It was, 20 seconds worth of coverage that me and him talked over.
I didn't watch it, so who knows what he said.
I don't know. The guy.
I didn't watch it.
It's just interesting. He sold his weed for he sold his TV for weed. I'm trying to look at.
He's gonna sell his house.
Right. I mean, not everything on the TV. There's good qualities about having a TV, but Shizzle claims everything is garbage on TV, and I would have to disagree with that.
Mike Truth keeps saying over and over again, and he's baffled by my brother and why he sold his TV for weed. Well, I'm glad he got some marijuana out of it at least. I mean, something to give him a little enjoyment out of life, because what he actually should have did was destroy the fucking TV so it would never program another person's mind into how they define us to be. Especially for the money that enslaves us to repetitiously cycle it. But hey, we all have to live by it, so we all have to get along somehow, because we still refuse to collectively wake up to how they control us. Don't know why we keep refusing to wake up to how they really control us, but we do. And we still keep clinging on to the many ways they control our minds with how they program us to be.
Not everything's on TV.
I'll tell you, like, for example, the news.
Right.
News, I mean, dude, they just, they just want to program, and they just want you to believe, whatever their agenda.
Sure, but there's good things on the TV also, besides the mainstream.
Like TV shows.
Right.
Even that. I mean, like...
There's good things on the TV. No, there's not good things on the TV. I mean, if you want to go by the label of good and bad and what they created, we can take that and we can use it for this situation, and we can judge what's good and bad. Well, is it good that we're programmed by the things that they created on television? Because if you look at it, there's plenty of programs that define us to be one way or another. And these actors that many people are programmed to worship and idolize and put on a pedestal above them, they look at these actors as someone they can emulate, someone they can be like. And that's how they're programmed to be what they want them to be. Because keep in mind, the actors that you idolize and worship, they're only reading from a script that was written for them to perform in front of you by someone who paid them. Now, whoever paid them to act out an agenda of how they want you to be. Because once you idolize these people and you're watching them and paying attention to them, you're letting their scripted performance, the one they're getting paid big bucks for to program your mind with, you're letting it affect you, and you're wanting to be whatever they're portraying in whatever it is. And we see that playing out, and it's big. This fan being a fan of somebody, idol worship, it's all rampant all around us. I mean, it's even in politics. They have over half the people in the land of America idolizing and worshiping this figure, Donald Trump. And it's just like how they get us to idolize and worship, so-called truthers who get many people to like, just so they can deceive you with how they're programmed to be in one way or another. And they may not be doing it intentionally. Just like these brothers, I'm sure they don't think they're intentionally programming people with lies, but they can't see how they're programmed to be controlled in this world. They can't see. They can't break free to even grasp the possibility that they may have been misled from birth. They may have been manipulated from birth to be programmed to be something somebody else wanted them to be. But they can't see that right now, and even if they could, they might not want to admit it. But if you refuse to admit these things to yourself, you will continue being controlled. And if you want to live in this world, you will follow how they control you. And that's the way you're gonna die. So unless you plan on turning your back on truth, I would suggest trying to advance in it so they can no longer control you and define you.
If you look at...
Let's all just note that Mike Truth said there's good things on television, too. He said there's good things on television. Good and bad. I don't believe in either. So what the fuck is on the television if I don't believe in either? Programming. Shit that was scripted for me to intake. I'm not gonna intake it because what? Alright, one question for anybody. What's one truth that Shizzle should be considering that came out of television? Name one. One truth that came out of television throughout history. Put it on the comment section.
If you look at
Some people may say that your local news is reporting truthful events that help you in your daily life. But what is your daily life? Well, it's how they program your straw man to repetitiously live. And of course the local news channels may report what is truthfully happening in people's daily lives. But you forget, the majority of people that haven't broken free from how the governments control them, they're living a programmed life. The crimes that they report people committing, they were programmed to commit those crimes. Do you think if we didn't live in a system such as this, they would be committing those crimes they program them to commit? With the television shows they program them to believe in? How many crime shows have we consumed in our lifetime? How many scripts have they written to program us to be the people they want us to be while they pay these idols big money to play out a script so they can define us to be who they want us to be? There's been a lot of shows that consume your mind. You may even live by the scripts they've written to consume your mind with.
King of Queens,
Right.
or like, it's like the wife. The wife. She's the Almighty. She's the Almighty. She's the Almighty. And the husband, is a doofus. and the husband is just this dithering beta, and they're trying to
See, now here's how they program Mac's mind to think of a television show that they scripted the actors to play out on the people's minds. Now he's programmed to think of now we're talking about the King of Queens. It's a television show, and it's about a husband and wife, and we can get into that a little later, but Mac's talking about, and Mac's even labeling the actor that's scripted to perform his part to program the people. He's even talking about him with feeling. He labeled him as a dithering idiot or fool or whatever he said. And it's still a label they programmed Mac to believe people are, a natural person is, which, as we pointed out on this channel, that natural people can never be the labels they define us to be, because we can only be naturally created, and that's the truth. And that's how natural truth helps us ground ourselves. So Mac was programmed to call this actor that's playing out a scripted part to program our minds. He's getting people to believe that they can label him as a dithering beta or whatever. And he's trying to label the actress that plays the wife as a bitch. Okay? Somebody bitching, a queen bitch. Another label they define people to be, but truly can never be. But they get us to call people these labels every day, even in real life, You hear people call women bitches, and these labels, they're created to manifest bad feelings in people, which causes our natural emotional energy to manifest itself. And that's how they manipulate us emotionally. And let's continue.
They're trying to program people, to believe that, I'm just here, to do my 9 to 5. I'm just here to, to do my job, and then listen to my wife, bitch and complain.
Right.
Like, that doesn't sound like a life I want to live.
Now, it's true what Max said, and they're just trying to program people, but it's much more than that. It's much more than that. And just like we said, we pointed out the labels that they program Mac to label people as, and that's something they get him to do, and they get all of us to do the same thing. None of us are really innocent of not labeling people, but it's just breaking free from that, and not being controlled by the people who created these labels, because you still got to go back to who created these labels for us to define people as. Who the fuck are these people? And why should we believe in what you created for us to define people as? You know what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? think of things more truthfully and not be controlled by the things they control us with. And Mac is right. One of the many ways they program us to work a 9-to-5 job to enslave us in a never-ending position that we work until the day we die, because we're forced to work for the money, because they stole our natural land and resources from us. So they created this system of money that does all of these terrible things to us and gets us to live in all of these terrible ways and divides us in all of these terrible ways as well. But we still accept it, accept being controlled by it. We still accept being controlled by the governments who force us to live this way. But I'm getting away from the point about television. Television affects us in so many horrible ways, programming our minds to believe in the many different ways they control us in this world. So, yes, Mike Truth, please drop the television thing. There's nothing good about television or how it controls you. You're only showing how much truth you do not know. So please, my brother, just try to accept that television is an unhealthy way that they program people to believe in mass mind control.
Now that I'm awakened, if I didn't know shit, if I was still blue pill, these concepts, by the way, these things,
right, red pill, blue pill. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Right. So if I was still blue pill, I was just like, I just want some pussy. That's all.
Now, here we go with the red pill, blue pill. We're going back to the movies, right? I mean, that's where it comes into play. Mac is programmed by the red pill and the blue pill from the Matrix. Okay? You take the red pill, or vice versa, you take the blue pill, you take the red pill, whatever happened in the movie happened. You take the blue pill, whatever happened in the movie happened. Basically is you want to wake up to truth, you take one pill. You want to stay asleep and be controlled, you take another pill. All right? But they program people to believe in and be controlled by that script that was written for them. And many people are. You'll see when they relate to something in real life, they'll be consumed by something that happened in a movie. Their mind will automatically be drawn back to the script somebody else created for them to be defined as. You know what I mean? I mean, somebody wrote that script, and you're consuming that script, and you're taking parts of what somebody wants to control you with, and you're allowing that to control you. And you're not the only one. It's happening to millions all over this earth. And it happens, Hollywood actors get paid to get us to think a certain way, because they get paid to play out a written, scripted agenda for us to believe in. So you become what they want you to be. You think how they want you to think. instead of seeing how they're actually controlling you with what they created, where they're leading you with that.
All I want, I want a chick. We're gonna, she's never gonna do me dirty. And we're gonna live happily ever after. That's blue pill. Is thinking, you know what? She's never gonna do me dirty. She would never do that.
My question is, so does Sizzle think that he's like red pilled or something? Because he makes videos saying that people are putting deception out?
What?
See how dangerous the red pilled and blue pilled, it came from a Hollywood script. And now these so-called truthers are mentally consumed by it and labeling other people as, what they created. It's making my point. We can't be consumed by how people control us any longer. It's time to break free from these systems and deprogram from them.
I don't know in what sense, because a lot of our idea of what the red pill is has to do with female nature. So I don't know, if he even talks about that stuff. I haven't really seen him talk about female nature too much on his channel.
Mike Truth digging away.
Now Mac is saying the red pill has something to do with the female nature. Okay, I don't know about that, guy. I mean, that may be something. You'll have to go further into what you're thinking with that, because what would the red pill have to do with female nature? Is that because they bleed? They bleed to cleanse themselves every month? I don't know. And you'd have to clarify on that. I mean, as far as the female nature goes, I mean, it just truly exists. We truly are what we are. We were truly made to exist together, the male and female. And we were truly meant to be equal to one another. And for any of us to put ourselves above each other would be untruthful as far as how we're created to exist. I know they program us to do that every day in our life, go against each other, harm each other, encourage each other to live in a system that programs us to do horrible things to each other, accept horrible things to each other. It's terrible. I'm waiting for my brothers and sisters to wake up so we can be strong enough to make a real impact on how they control us. To really start to deprogram from all of these terrible things that enslave us and manipulate us, control us. And I'm getting tired of being one or just a few of a handful of people that only really know the truth. It's real lonely out in this world. And when you can see all the horrible things and what it really does to people, it just... it's terrible to continue to see happening every day in a repetitious, never-ending manner of people that refuse to wake up to it and just continue being consumed by it.
Trying to get that info on this shizzle. You want to know if shizzle is red pill? Is that what you want to know, Mike Truth? I'll be glad to answer that. You should have just asked me yourself. You probably would have got a better answer, dude. Shizzle is no pill. Fuck all those labels, them pills. Fuck MGTOW. You think Shizzle is gonna fuck around with that bullshit? Now, I might be on Mac's channel bullshitting with Mac, but Mac is a friend. This isn't a cult-like activity. If I disagree with Mac, I'll tell him as it is. Do you want me to become some type of MGTOW and fucking discriminate and divide against the slaves? No, I'm looking for freedom and solutions. And that has nothing to do with labeling myself any type of pill. So, better luck next time, Mike Truth, trying to get some dirt on shit.
Check that out, Brother Shizzle speaking up for the truth, no labels. I love it. That's why I love watching Shizzle's channel. He tells you how it is, man. Speaks the truth. Breaks your mind free. Why? Because he cares about you. Listen. Listen, people. There's people that care about you. There's people that want you to be free.
And fucking pass it along. That Shizzle's fucking MGTOW now. That would be funny.
Right.
I mean, that's one of them. Yeah.
Shizzle needs to chill out a little bit and stop being afraid to be called, have labels about him, or claiming everyone's putting out deception.
Mike Truth needs to wake up to the truth. Please, Mike. You are Mike of many programmed Mikes. Mike is one of the straw men. They named millions of men on this earth. You don't want to be just one of many millions of Mikes, do you, that doesn't know truth? If you have truth in your name, at least look for it, Mike. Labels are bad. They were created by a very small minority of people to define and control the people that believe in them. They are dangerous. And so are many of the words in the Webster Dictionary. They were created to manipulate your mind. Don't allow them to do that. And don't encourage other people as well. I know you may not understand what is happening in this world to you, but in the truth community we do not mix words. And I'm not gonna paint you a fairy tale picture of how life is, how they wanted you to believe it is. It really is. It really truthfully is and does what I say it does, whether you believe it or not. And I'm not saying that to be better than anybody. I'm saying that to free your mind from it. Please pay attention, brother.
I just think he needs to chill out a little bit.
Mike Truth says that Shizzle needs to chill out a little bit. His opinion of whether I'm chilled or not, he thinks that I need to chill out a little bit. He thinks that I get mad when people label me or pass along deception. Nah, you could label me all you want and you could say all the deception you want. It doesn't mean I won't expose you. And what you're telling me to chill out means don't expose you anymore? No, I'm gonna expose you each and every single time that I want. Just like you could deceive and label me each and every single time that you want. There is not a hatchet. It doesn't exist. Just because I'm making a video calling you out and exposing you doesn't mean I hate you. It doesn't mean I'm mad that you're labeling me. You think I'm getting mad anytime anybody labels me? You think I think it's evil and bad? You think I believe in bad and evil? I believe you have feelings. Perhaps you have feelings, and then you're gonna make labels like good and bad. But there is no hatchet. Shizzle doesn't have a hatchet. The only hatchet that exists is in your beliefs. So I will continue exposing as much people as I want that want to commit these acts of deceptions and divisions and beliefs and pass them along for control. And what I'm doing is just trying to teach a few people that might be caught under the spells, hopefully to start thinking for themselves. That's all. I'm trying to teach.
Well, I didn't see the damn video. I don't know. I don't know what kind of disparaging, commentary. I don't know what kind of, disparaging, type commentary, he said. I don't know what was said. I might check it out.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So, anyways, about you, what's your thoughts on China right now with China coming in?
That's right. I think you guys should probably talk about something else, Mike Truth. Good idea. Change the topic. New conversation at hand.
Well, there you go, guys. I just thought it was interesting, the conversation they were having, and thought we'd truthfully break it down and maybe explain a few things to these brothers. And if they want to comment on it or leave me some feedback, and that's more than welcome as well. Thank you, guys. Take care.